Welcome to the Full-Time FBA Show. In each episode, it's our goal to help you turn part-time hours into a full-time income selling almost anything on Amazon. And now, your hosts of the show, Stephen and Rebecca Smotherman.
Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. We are on episode number 252 this week, and we are talking about the blueprint of growing a well-balanced Amazon business. With me to talk about this is my husband and co-host, business partner, all of the above, Stephen Smotherman.
Hi.
I didn't ask you a question. Usually I ask a question so that you could respond to it.
I had nothing to go on.
Sorry about that.
All I had was, all I could say was hi.
Yeah. I don't know. When I said well-balanced Amazon business, it made me think of a well-balanced meal for some reason.
Yes. Also, this episode will be a part of a complete breakfast.
There you
brought
go.
to you by some cereal.
Cheerios.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, let's get into the episode.
Let's do.
When new sellers first start selling on Amazon, they usually get started with one main sourcing strategy when it comes to their sourcing of inventory that they want to sell on Amazon. And that's exactly what we teach when we're coaching our clients who are just starting out. Pick one sourcing strategy, don't add a different strategy until you have some confidence in that first one that you started off with. For example, our coaching client Mark first started off finding inventory locally via retail arbitrage, finding inventory to sell on Amazon via local retail stores. And after he started getting some momentum going with RA, he started to add some online arbitrage into his sourcing mix.
Right. Then there's Anna, who started off with her Amazon business focusing on online arbitrage, and then started growing her Amazon business via online arbitrage. And when that got comfortable, she decided that she wanted to expand into some wholesale sourcing. Now, it might not be the reality of your Amazon business right now, but for real long-term success with Amazon, you really need to have what we like to call a three-legged stool, comprised of three sourcing strategies of retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and wholesale arbitrage. And that's what we teach and coach our coaching students to do on their Amazon business.
Can someone build a successful Amazon business with only retail arbitrage or only online arbitrage or only wholesale? Yes, it's possible. But are you wanting possible, or are you wanting to set yourself up to experience the highest possible chances of success? That's why we tell our coaching clients that once they start seeing success with one of these methods, only then is it time to start adding another.
So when you look at your own Amazon business, what is your main sourcing strategy? Is it retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, or wholesale? Maybe it's time to add a new strategy. You know, if you're doing well with one or two strategies, maybe it's time to add a second or third. And so there are some seriously great reasons why having all three of these strategies working together help bring stability and success to your Amazon business. And so for the rest of this episode, we're going to outline the main reasons you need to eventually get to a place where you're consistently finding inventory via all three of these strategies.
I hope you just heard Stephen say the word eventually, because running an Amazon business that has a good balance of retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and wholesale sourcing is not a simple or an overnight upgrade to your business. But it seriously can take months or sometimes even years to accomplish. And that's okay. It's not something you want to rush things with.
Right. So now you know it's a long path to take. And that a long path to take is the best path. So let's help everyone listening today actually start on their way down that path today, not some metaphorical someday that actually never comes. So when it comes to having retail arbitrage skills, online arbitrage skills, or wholesale sourcing skills, all of those in your back pocket, here are my favorite reasons why it's amazing to learn and improve upon these skills so that all of these skills can help your Amazon business grow and grow fast. First off, like we talked about at the beginning of this episode, this is like having three sourcing skills that create a three-legged stool for you to sit on and find stability in your Amazon business. One leg might be retail arbitrage, or a two-legged stool might be just online arbitrage and wholesale. But Rebecca, is a one or two-legged stool very solid to lean on or sit on?
Of course not.
Exactly. But a three-legged stool, it provides the stability and success for your goal of having a safe place to sit on. It helps you out in the same way, actually getting to a place in your Amazon business where you have a business that's focused on wholesale sourcing, retail arbitrage, and online arbitrage. That kind of stability can create long-term success.
Also, since sourcing can come and go in waves, you know how sometimes it's awesome and you're finding tons of inventory to sell on Amazon, but then other times your sourcing efforts are really dry and frustrating. So we call that riding the wave. And since sourcing comes and goes in waves, you can turn up one strategy to bring in profitable inventory when other strategies seem to go dry. You can turn it up like it's a dial. You turn up that dial. So we've done this recently as a few of our wholesale accounts have really dried up when it comes to profitability. So we simply pivoted to doing a little more retail and online arbitrage sourcing while we're finding more wholesale accounts.
Oh, yeah. And remember when COVID first hit?
I do, but I don't want to think about it.
Right. Same. When COVID first hit and a lot of people didn't want to go risk exposure by going out to retail stores, we simply turned down the dial of our retail arbitrage efforts and turned up the dial of our online arbitrage and our wholesale efforts. And having those three sourcing strategies in our skill set helped us stay profitable and successful.
And like you said, all of these sourcing strategies will have hot times or cold times, times when things seem to be selling like hotcakes, and times when you can't even find anything worth selling no matter how hard you look. And when those dry times come with one strategy that we're using, we can just simply turn up the dial on one or more of the sourcing strategies that we have that are working well at the time.
Right. And if you want a solid Amazon business that's going to last for the long haul, then you really need to have multiple streams of income coming through your Amazon business. And we know that retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, and wholesale arbitrage are the three strongest income stream strategies to focus on right now that help bring in that full-time income via Amazon.
Now, we're not going to go into it in this episode, but there are some strategies of selling on Amazon that we do not recommend you focus on, especially as a new seller, but that's the topic of another episode. And in fact, we've already covered these Amazon strategies that you should not be doing in previous podcast episodes. So if you are curious, you can go to our show notes page for this particular episode, fulltimefba.com/252, and we'll link to the episodes there in the show notes for you to know exactly what not to do and why we think so. These are things like drop shipping or private label, things like that. We'll just explain it all in those episodes. It was episode 28, 96, and 167. But you can just go to fulltimefba.com/252 and we'll list them all and have the links there for you.
Right. And we'd love to help you if you think you're ready to add a new sourcing strategy to your Amazon sourcing skill set. Like if you want to add on online arbitrage, we have a course that can help you know the strategies, understand the tools, and we can teach you what you need to know to understand how to find profitable inventory online to sell on Amazon. You can check out that in our online arbitrage course by simply going to fulltimefba.com/OA course.
Or if you're wanting to add some wholesale sourcing to your Amazon business, we have some really good news for you because very soon, August 8th, in fact, if you're listening when this podcast drops first, this episode, we're hosting a free webinar that was August 8th, and it's going to be focused 100% on how to add wholesale sourcing to your Amazon business. You can sign up for this free webinar by going to fulltimefba.com/wholesale workshop and secure your spot. Now, if you're listening to this episode after August 8th of 2024, then you can use that same link, fulltimefba.com/wholesale workshop, and it will take you to a page where you can sign up to be notified when we do a wholesale focused webinar again in the future. So fulltimefba.com/wholesale workshop.
The cool thing is that no matter where you are in your journey with selling on Amazon, we can help you. We can help you with taking those first steps that you are just getting started with, or we can help you figure out what your next step is that you need to take. We can help you in your journey of getting all three legs of your Amazon business set up for success so you can finally take control of the financial freedom that you can achieve by selling on Amazon.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. As a reminder, you can check out the show notes for this episode at fulltimefba.com/252. We'll have all of the links that were mentioned in this episode as well as the show notes. And if you're not already, please subscribe to the Full-Time FBA newsletter. You can go to fulltimefba.com, get signed up, and you'll be on the list to receive emails about future podcast episodes, any promotions that we have coming up, and anytime we're doing free workshops.
And next week on the show, we're going to talk about how to overcome the worst part of selling wholesale on Amazon. We're going to make the worst part turn into one of the best parts next week on the Full-Time FBA Show.
That's all for this episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. So head over to fulltimefba.com/podcast, where you'll find the show notes and links from this episode. While you're there, subscribe to our newsletter where you'll get several free downloads of our popular and helpful Amazon FBA resources. Now, take action on what you've learned today so you can find success at turning part-time hours into a full-time income with Amazon FBA.